Morning, everyone. Before I begin, I'd like to first acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're meeting today, the Gumbaynggirr people. I pay my respects to their elders, past and present. My name is Bronwyn. I'm currently a manager in the EPA's Circular Economy Policy Branch, and I have a long history of working in environmental policy development. It's my pleasure to be here today to discuss the work the EPA is doing to develop the first ever New South Wales repair and reuse strategy. The government made the commitment to develop the strategy at last year's Circular Economy Summit, and it's one of a series of targeted measures to address Sydney's landfill crisis. The EPA is very excited about the opportunity to do more in the reuse and repair space, after having worked over many years to support recycling in New South Wales. Today, I'll be talking through the reasons that we need a reuse and repair strategy, the products we propose to focus on, the issues that stakeholders have raised with us, and some of the potential actions that we are considering. This slide outlines some of the key steps we have taken and plan to take in developing the strategy. We're currently in the process of engaging Minister Sharp on our work to date. We plan to consult further with stakeholders in coming months before hopefully finalising the strategy later this year or early next year. So why do we need to act on reuse and repair? Recycling rates in New South Wales have stagnated at 65% and waste levels are increasing. The growth in our waste generation is partly due to increased population, but also due to increased levels of production and consumption. Historically, people tended to own fewer items. Those items were generally highly durable. They were repaired and kept or reused for long periods of time. The durability of what we buy is decreasing, and this contributes to a cycle of increasing consumption. Reduced product durability comes with significant downsides. It contributes to consumers having to replace goods more often. It contributes to increasing waste volumes, which impose costs on ratepayers and the environment. And it contributes to worse environmental impacts from the production of goods, including climate change, resource depletion, and degradation of natural environments. The EPA is proposing that the objective of the reuse and repair strategy should be to keep products in circulation for longer by increasing product durability, reuse, and repair. Increasing the longevity of products will help to promote a circular economy, reduce waste to landfill, and provide cost of living relief. Our approach to developing the strategy has been to identify priority products and to understand the specific issues relevant to their reuse and repair. Household appliances, consumer electronics, textiles, and reusable servingware have been selected as initial priorities. These are all product areas where there is increasing consumption and increasing amounts of waste going to landfill. I'll be giving some illustrative statistics in a moment. But we're conscious that there are many more products with scope for greater product durability. We welcome your feedback on which product types should be first cabs off the rank for government action. Electronics are one of the fastest growing waste streams in Australia. Australians generate 22 kilograms of electronic waste per person each year, nearly 3 times the global average. This growth in e-waste has outpaced recycling, resulting in $680 million worth of materials sent to landfill in 2019 alone. Australians are also among the biggest consumers of clothing in the world. In 2023, Australians bought 1.4 billion garments and sent almost 2/3 of that number to landfill, both in and outside of Australia. Another staggering statistic is that the number of clothing items sold in Australia has increased fourfold in the past 30 years. Takeaway food and beverage items account for 35% of litter in New South Wales urban estuaries. Australians consume an estimated 1.4 billion single-use coffee cups each year. Coffee cups have limited recovery and recycling pathways and are mainly ending up as litter and in landfill. We've heard a lot from stakeholders about the key issues that are impacting on product durability, reuse and repair. We see these issues as broadly relating to product design, consumer awareness, availability and willingness to pay. Too often, products are not designed to be durable and repairable, which in turn influences the extent to which a product can be reused. Problematic design features can include the use of poor quality materials, the inability to disassemble products for repair, and reliance of products on software upgrades when those upgrades are not guaranteed for a reasonable period of time. Some of the ways that we could potentially seek to promote more durable product design is through minimum product standards and product stewardship arrangements, which create requirements or incentives for producers to make goods more durable. For example, making producers responsible for the use or recycling of goods, once disposed of by consumers, could help to encourage more durable product design from the outset. Lack of sufficient consumer information and awareness is another issue which impacts on reuse and repair. One key issue that has been widely recognised is that purchasers cannot easily identify products that are durable and repairable at point of sale. This lack of transparency in turn reduces the incentive for companies to produce more durable and repairable products. Consumers may also lack awareness of the full benefits of purchasing durable products and of repairing and reusing them. A consumer attitude study recently conducted by the EPA showed that consumers that reported an awareness of the environmental benefits of repair were more likely to pursue repair for their household appliances. Under the Australian Consumer Law, consumers are entitled to have their products last for a reasonable period of time, which may be longer than the advertised warranty period. However, consumer awareness of their rights and how to enforce them seems to be limited. Policies that could be pursued to increase consumer awareness include information initiatives to increase understanding of the existing consumer rights and of benefits of choosing more durable products and pursuing reuse and repair. A promising initiative that has been adopted in France is repairability labels for goods at point of sale. These have so far been introduced for smartphones, laptops, televisions, washing machines, high-pressure cleaners, vacuum cleaners, dishwashers, and electric lawnmowers. Availability is a term we're using to capture a wide range of issues that can impact the availability of repair services and of options for reuse. The availability of repair services is constrained for some products. For example, it may be difficult to find a repairer for a cheaper household item, such as a child's electronic toy. Choice of repair services can be constrained for technologically complex goods, which require specialised knowledge, tools and parts to carry out repair. In Australia, there are legal requirements for car makers to provide access to information, tools and parts to ensure that the car makers don't gain a monopoly over the repair of their vehicles. However, similar requirements are not in place for a broader range of products. In parts of the hospitality sector, consumers may find it hard to find food and drink options that are sold in reusable servingware. This is because it has become cheaper to serve food in disposable packaging. Parts of the reuse sector have told us that they are frustrated that unsold products are being sent to landfill rather than being made available for reuse. They see the opportunity to facilitate the sale of these never sold goods along donated second-hand goods. Pursuing right to repair reforms to empower independent repairers is one important way to increase availability of reuse and repair. The Australian government has announced it will pursue such reforms. This is great news, and there may be potential for the New South Wales government to help to support these reforms and to advocate for them to be progressed quickly. Support for community sector reuse and repair initiatives such as op shops, repair cafes, and sharing libraries is another way to increase access to reuse and repair. These initiatives can help to fill the gaps where the community's desire for reuse and repair is not being adequately met by the private sector. These initiatives also provide some important social benefits, such as skills and employment for people facing barriers to employment, opportunities for volunteering and social connection, and transfer of repair skills from older to younger generations. A way to increase access to reusables in the hospitality sector is to promote reusable coffee cup precincts. Under Germany's Recup program, customers pay a small deposit for a reusable cup that can be returned to any of the 20,000 participating locations. Here in New South Wales, Bermagui has put a similar initiative in place. The EPA is looking at ways that government can promote the establishment of more of these precincts. A way to promote the reuse of never-used items is to ban sending unsold goods to landfill or to require public reporting on landfill excess stock. There are European precedents for these measures. It is often judged easiest and financially wise to replace a broken item rather than fix it. Similar considerations factor into buying new rather than buying second-hand, and into taking the effort to rehome an item you no longer need rather than disposing of it. Repair and reuse are not always going to be the best course of action, but it's a problem that the decision-making process currently does not sufficiently take account of the broader societal environmental impacts of purchasing new items. The price of buying an item generally doesn't reflect the environmental cost of its production, nor its waste disposal costs. One of the ways we could seek to address perverse incentives like this is through subsidies that bring down the cost of repair. Again, there are European precedents for repair incentive schemes. Government can also show leadership by prioritising reuse and repair through its own procurement and asset management practices, even though this may impose some additional costs. Before I move on to next steps, I'd like to acknowledge some of the work that the EPA is already doing in this space. We have funded some great research by Charitable Reuse Australia, which measures the environmental, economic and social contributions of the reuse sector. Funding has also gone to Garage Sale Trail, which coordinates and connects garage sales across the country. The Local Government Waste Solutions Fund has provided funding to several councils to assist with setting up initiatives such as tip shops, tool libraries and repair cafes. The purpose of this presentation has been to give a quick overview of the EPA's current approach to developing a New South Wales reuse and repair strategy. Given time constraints, I haven't covered all of the options that we're considering, but I have touched on most of them. We're expecting to carry out formal consultation later this year, but we're very happy to meet to discuss the strategy with people who are interested. So please do reach out to me if you'd like to provide some input to the development of the strategy. Thank you very much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer some questions.
there any questions from the floor? We have a few minutes. Oh, Lena.
G'day Bronwyn, I'm Lena, the CEO of Tyre Stewardship Australia. Can you tell me about the engagement you're having with retailers around the repairability of the products that people are purchasing from those stores? Like what's their role in all of this?
Yeah. Well, I think retailers do have a really important role to play. I think most of the stakeholders that we've engaged with so far have been NGOs, local councils, and we haven't done a lot of consultation yet with product sort of retailers and product manufacturers, but that's definitely like the, sort of a next stage of consultation for us.
I have one, Bronwyn. My daughter's just moved to Melbourne to do fashion design. I spent a lot of time hanging around at Fitzroy with all the uni students. Every second store is a reuse fashion, secondhand fashion store. It's incredible. And yet, even Newtown, our funky Sydney strip, has maybe 2 stores. Melbourne has hundreds. What is it and what have they done to create the textile reuse culture in Melbourne? Or is it just organic and New South Wales will never get there? Or is there something government can do to create and grow that sector?
I wasn't aware of that difference, I have to say. I mean, other than just through my experience of travelling to Melbourne, and I suppose experiencing that the culture there maybe is a bit, I mean, I don't know if this is offensive to say, but like a bit more progressive in a way. So.
There are stores down there that are the size of a large Bunnings or Woolworths, selling second-hand clothing.
That's really good
like
to
it's
know.
an industrial scale business.
I mean, I'm not aware that Victoria has anything particularly groundbreaking in place in terms of their policy settings. We have been hearing that there is increasing sort of interest in New South Wales in setting up op shops that are sort of, I guess, provide a good consumer experience. And that's by both the NGO sector and the for-profit sector. There are for-profit organisations working in the clothing reuse space. But I think that sounds like something that we should look into further.
Find a consultant. Yeah, I know of one. Any other questions from the floor? All right, oh, sorry, there is one down there. Sorry, Jen. Run to you.
Hi, my name is Sergio from SMEC, and I wonder, this is a fantastic policy, but how you enforce this when most of the products are made abroad? How you force Apple to share the IP for repair their iPhone when if you repair it yourself with somebody, you may have a techie friend, you lose the warranty. So it's a challenge to force international companies that make the product that we consume.
I mean, I should just start by saying this is not like a made policy at this point. We're scoping issues and options for a policy. So that I'm really glad you asked that question because it is really important to emphasise that these are ideas that we're hearing from stakeholders. They're things that are sort of emerging from the literature and, you know, from things that have been done overseas, but they're not things that the government has committed to doing at this point in time. But I think, it is challenging. But I mean, just about every country in the world, I think, is in the position that they're not making everything that they consume. And even with the repairability rating that France has introduced, the sort of what they've found with those ratings, which aren't sort of saying you have to design your product in a certain way, they're just saying you have to have a rating with information on how repairable it is, that We've heard that that creates a feedback loop to the design of those products. Australia can, with certain, I think, challenges associated with online purchases, but Australia, I think should be trying to control what comes into its borders, and it's never going to be perfect, but it's sort of something, worth looking at more closely.
Thank you, Hong, for that. I'll have to hold it. Bronwyn, thank you very much. Join with me and thank you, Bronwyn.